Oh my gosh, is that new merch? That's crazy. So there I was at a reptile expo, and Christmas came early. That's right, I purchased one of the coolest yet intimidating looking creatures I have ever seen. These are Horrid King Assassin Bugs, or Citala horrida babies? I don't know if I pronounced that right. And I will attempt to raise them to become my personal hit squad that will destroy my enemies. They were rated as easy to care for, but little did I know was that this experience was gonna be anything but easy. In fact, they will cost me 10,000 years of my life from stress and anxiety, and later, there will be some mysterious phenomenon that plague these little killers, and I have no idea what to do about it. So let's talk about that. Now, I gotta admit, I broke my own rule and bought these little babies on impulse. Wow, John, how dare you? Aren't you always lecturing us to always do your own research before buying an animal? But then you go on and buy these on a whim. What the heck? Hey now, I didn't expect to see these being sold at an expo, so seeing them is like spotting a rare Pokemon in the wild. You can't pass it up. Also, I watched a care video by Clint's Reptiles, so I'm pretty sure that counts as research. From what the vendor and what Clint said, it did seem super easy, and besides, it's not like I'm purchasing a Komodo dragon. Okay guys, you can chill. How easy is it? These guys need a vertical enclosure with egg crates and cork bark, and that's it. They need a hot, dry climate to grow, and since California is basically that all the time, I was pretty much set. Once they're adults, maybe that's when I'll set them up in a more naturalistic environment. I'll probably add dirt for substrate, so you'll definitely want to stick around for that. And if that doesn't entice you to subscribe, I don't know what will. So there we go, 5 Horrida babies. Not to be offensive, but you all look exactly the same, so I'm gonna call you collectively the Koga clan. For you will be my personal squad of little ninjas. Now, feeding our newly established Koga clan is super easy because these guys are ravenous hunters. They will pounce on their prey with their strong arms and with their proboscis, or more commonly known,
that long stabby pointy thing.
The assassin bug will then inject a toxic saliva that dissolves their prey into like bug boba, which then gets sucked up by
that long stabby pointy thing that also functions as a bendy straw.
It's amazing. Not for the prey though, and they get subdued very quickly. And because of that, they are able to take on prey much larger than themselves, especially when they do it as a group. If, say, I put an adult dubia roach in the enclosure for feeding time, that roach is like 2 times or 3 times bigger than one of these little babies. But they will collectively attack the roach and then feast on it together. I was going to say as one big happy family, but after watching them hunt multiple times, it's more like squabbling greedy little brats. Because these guys don't like to share, especially when they got bigger. The bigger ones would sometimes come over and steal whatever the smaller ones killed. They'd fight over pieces of roach meat. Complete madness. It's like, seriously, dude, you literally just ate yesterday. You are so fat. You really think that it's a good idea to finish one of those things all by yourself? Like, why don't you just share with your poor sibling over here who hasn't even eaten yet? Unbelievable. Bit of a side tangent, but this is definitely something that I did not expect for them. They are the messiest and stinkiest little spike balls I have ever had to take care of. I don't know if it's the hollowed husks that they leave scattered everywhere when they're done eating, or the many puddles of their droppings that stink. It's probably both. I know I shouldn't be comparing creepy crawly species because that's not good for their self-esteem, but I'm just saying. Like, why can't your poops just smell better? Or, like, why can't they be like mangoes or Nezuko's droppings? They poop all the time, but I barely have to clean up after them. Every time I pass by the Koga clan's closure, it's a deep clean with hot water and dry in the sun to get rid of the smell, only for it to get messy like the very next day. Anyways, tangent over. I'm probably just being petty. Sure, they are super messy and it smells, but I still love them. Oh, aren't you good little assassin bug? Ow. So general care aside, it's pretty easy. But this is where my lack of experience and knowledge caused most of my problems. As with raising any kind of baby, there are risks involved, particularly with invertebrates. And anyone with experience raising insects knows that it can be a pretty delicate process, especially when there's always the threat of mismolts. By the way, a newly molted assassin bug looks really pretty. Like, look at this. I take one look at them and I think, starburst. A very, very spiky starburst. It's a shame they don't stay like this. If it were a Pokemon, this is what a shiny would look like. But anyways, I wanted to give them more vertical space, so one day I put in a toilet paper roll. And hey, look at that! One of them was trying to molt on it. Awesome! Or so I thought. I waited anxiously for it to completely shed from its exoskeleton. But after like an hour, that's when I realized something was wrong. Don't use toilet paper rolls for climbing things, folks! Yeah, apparently these are not very good surfaces for them to cling to, and this one unfortunately was not stable, got stuck, and did not make it. That was the first casualty of the clan. One lesson learned the hard way, and 4 remained. Gosh dang it. Okay, make that 3. This time, I really have no idea what happened though. I woke up the next morning and saw it lying there. I don't know, John. Maybe it was too dry. Honestly, it makes sense, and I would think that it's a good idea to mist the enclosure every once in a while, but the vendor still stood by the fact that they need bone-dry environments to molt properly. And me being of lesser experience, I just figured I should trust whatever he said because he's bred them successfully, and I have not, So who am I to question his authority? So far, my dreams of raising a nymph to a full-grown adult has not been realized. I mean, technically I did, it just wasn't what I would consider successful. But once again, I'm not really sure if it was my fault. One day I check on the enclosure and there's an adult in the cage. But instead of seeing a pristine, shiny new adult assassin bug as shown on Google Images here, I see this tangled up, mangled mess. Oh, you poor thing, what happened? And then that's when I saw where it tried molting. It chose the weirdest place possible. See, instead of using any of the nice, spacious cork barks provided, it tried molting in the corner of the cage on the smallest slab that had 0 maneuverability. Oh, well, why did you put it there then? Oh yeah, well, why don't you shut up? It was technically still alive and it was able to walk around, but honestly, I did not think that it would have that great of a quality of life, and so made the decision to put it out of its misery. So that makes 3 mismolts, and now I only have like 2 left. Koga clan is more like a Koga duo. And now, I was about to face an affliction that I don't know if anyone has dealt with before, and I desperately need help. After one of my assassin bugs molted, I noticed it refused to eat for an abnormal amount of time. Now, not wanting to eat for up to a week after molting was normal, but this turned into several weeks. I tried every day to try to entice it to eat it, and I even gave it different kinds of prey too, but nothing. I mean, on the outside, it looked totally fine, but clearly something was wrong with it. And it got to the point where its abdomen started to shrink and even become concave. I asked the breeder, he didn't know what was going on. I looked it up online, nothing. There was no mention what could possibly be explaining this behavior. Not a very fun feeling when even the internet can't help you. So I basically repeated these attempts with no fruition at all. And soon it turned into like 2 months since it's last eaten. And by this point, it is definitely much weaker. But before I was about to make the decision to euthanize it, I tried one more time. And look, you finally caught it. I was so overjoyed. Yes! Now you can fill up that shrunken body of yours and actually put some meat on those exoskeletons. Yeah. Now I can finally relax. That was the moment my heart sank. I tried a few more times, but it was the same result, and eventually it just gave up altogether. And so did my hopes and dreams. Ugh, well, that sucked. I sure hope that's the last time I had to deal with that, and hopefully it was just an individual occurrence. At least I still have you. Mother. See, I was thinking maybe there was some issue with the molt and that caused some internal complications in the last one, but now I have really no idea. Excuse me, I must have missed the meeting where you both took an oath to the grave not to kill another bug. You were eating fine just a few weeks ago. Why did you decide to stop now? This is possibly one of the most painful things to witness because clearly it wants to eat. And as you can see, it tried multiple times, but every time it ends up letting it go. Now the clock is ticking before it starves to death. And every day it doesn't eat adds to my stress. You wanna know how stressed? I would even have dreams where it finally ate again and I would be happy for a brief moment. Or I figured out what was wrong and fixed it, only for me to wake up and realize that solution doesn't make sense. Is that weird? Probably, but that just shows how much it bothered me. Sadly, once again, another month of no eating. The last member of my Koga clan unfortunately won't last much longer, but I wasn't about to give up just yet because I had one last idea to try to save it. See, the initial problem appears to be that it can't kill its prey with a toxin, therefore it can't eat it. So, perhaps if it had some help killing its prey and making the bug boba, then it could eat. So here we go, reinforcements, baby. Literally, I bought more babies. Koga Clan 2.0. Or I don't know, maybe I should come up with a different name. All right, fingers crossed that this works. Everything was going according to plan. The babies killed the roach. He saw it, went over to eat some of it, but then he let it go. Well, it was worth a try. This is where I turn to you, dear viewer, or any entomologist or fellow invertebrate keepers that watch my videos, because I don't know what to do at this point. Am I going to get a bunch of unhelpful comments? Probably, but I know for a fact that some of you, a lot of you, indeed know a lot more about insects than I do. And that is why I'm coming to you guys for help. So if you have any idea what was afflicting my pets, please let me know in the comments below, because this is clearly something that is not covered in the care guides and discussed online. Let me tell you something. When you have 5 tries with easy level difficulty bugs, then they all die, that does something to a man. And it is not great. How would I describe it? Yeah. Currently, I have 3 theories. 1 is diet. Although the article I read online was specific for spotted assassin bugs, which are a different species, I figured, close enough. It mentioned that assassin bugs need to have a varied diet. And if they end up eating the same thing over and over, then they will have health complications. So, complications like not being able to kill prey and suck the juice? That kind of complication? I did recall only feeding them mainly dubia roaches and crickets, and sometimes I did not alternate them. Speaking of crickets, theory 2, parasites. I know parasites can cause all kinds of weird problems to invertebrates, and crickets are notorious for carrying them. I just figured, I don't know, maybe the toxin injected by the assassin bug was strong enough to neutralize the parasite if there were any. But if it was because of an infected cricket, then this is just another example of why crickets are a bad feeder option for invertebrates. Or theory 3, I fed them some kind of mystical cockroach that in its final moments cursed them to never be able to eat again until they die. Which I really hope is not the case, because I don't know what to do about that. It's never fun to lose a pet, you know, especially if it's because of something that you could control. But sometimes you just gotta learn lessons the hard way, and in the end, this experience will make me a better keeper. So currently, I am taking precautions for theories 1 and 2. I have pretty much stopped feeding crickets to them, and I will be giving them a well-varied diet. Yes, my precious Koga Clan 2.0, your menu's theme will alternate between a variety of fresh delicacies such as live red runner roaches, gut-loaded with leftover mangoes from Stater Brothers, rustic cage-free mealworm linguine, whole organic dubia roach stuffed with freshly cut apples, and the occasional succulent hornworm a la mode. Fingers crossed that I don't run into any more complications and I finally get a healthy adult, and who knows, maybe one day I'll have my very own army of assassin bugs that I will use to destroy my enemies and rule the world. But one step at a time. Breaking news! We interrupt your normal programming today because this just in. The elusive John has in fact resurfaced with new merch in time for the holidays. We are getting reports from all over the globe that these designs are, forgive me for the cringe, fire. And anyone seen wearing these designs, particularly at any upcoming reptile expos, are at high risk of contracting the C word. Compliments. We are here live to interview a witness. Yeah, some random dude came up to me and said they liked my shirt like a monster. Diabolical. Oh my goodness, look up at the sky. Oh, I can't make that out. What does it say? Code tofu turkey for 20% off. What could that possibly mean? It is true madness out there, folks. Stay safe. Wait, what do you mean assassin bugs have broken into the studio? Buy the merch at crowdmade.com/youngyoungtales.